just want to ask a question. And this question, the purpose or the intent of this question is so that we can settle in our mind one or two things, that will help us in this class. Okay, so I asked the question, okay. Is it possible to completely rodent-proof a facility? Meaning, is it possible to keep rodents out of a facility? 100%. So I want to hear us. I want to know what we think, because the answer to this question will determine a lot of things. So they say, okay, rats are disturbing a particular facility and there's a rodent infestation. Is it possible to completely clear out the rats and keep that place rodent-free?
Okay, good evening, Prof, and good evening, class.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. From my little knowledge, I think it's practically impossible. Yes, you can minimize it to a very large extent, but rodents can come from adjoining neighborhoods, facilities, or buildings. So based on that, I would say it is practically impossible. Yes, you can control it up to 90%, but you will still always have rodents that are not resident in that area, that are coming from other places. So the game plan should be exclusion as much as you can. Thank you. I hope I answered it.
I hear you. Yes, you've answered. I hear you. I'm going to come back to you on what you said. I'm going to ask you another question. But before I do that, let me take answers from some other people. Mr. Basic, you want to say something?
Okay, sir. Good evening, everyone, again.
Good evening, sir. Yes,
sir. It's a tricky one. And if you ask me, I think the answer is yes and no. I will explain. When I say yes, if you are looking at a defined time frame, yes, you can get that. For example, if you do a treatment in a facility and you have done the right thing, and you give a timeline, for example, after a week or 2 weeks, you returned for an inspection, and after your inspection, you were satisfied. Within that period, yes, you have eliminated. Now, that also, the sustenance of that situation also depends on a number of factors. I hope I'm not making it complex. One of the factors is if the owners of the facility or the occupants adhere, for example, to your advice. For example, don't leave doors open at night or even during the day, because anything can creep in at any time. If they leave it open, it means that those things will come in, they'll find their way into the facility again. And to the extent that you had earlier done your own part and you have confirmed that the facility had been cured of the ill at that particular time, it was yes. But to the extent that they failed to do their own part, you will see that they have rubbished whatever one had done to control the rodent infestation or whatever in that facility. So you see that, yes, if you do your bit, you can get a yes answer. But if other factors, in economics, they say all things being equal. If all things refuse to be equal, you may not be able to. That's the way I look at it, sir.
I hear you, sir. Okay, beautiful, beautiful submissions. Okay, Mr. Patrick Osai, I want to come back to you. I hear you mention exclusion. So on the one part, you mentioned exclusion. On the other part, you said it is impossible to rodent-proof a facility. So if you say it is impossible, then what is exclusion doing in the equation? Is exclusion not the act of stealing and blocking rodent entry points and exit points? So if you do that, haven't you, is that not what you do to rodent-proof a facility? So Mr. Patrick Osai, can you juggle that and answer that mix?
Yes. My answer is based on two basic factors. One is the time frame of the treatment. Two is the neighborhood. It's the neighborhood where the facility is situated. Even if you do well, exclusion will exclude rodents from that area. But we all know that rodents are also very smart creatures. They could also devise other means of getting in there. So it can be reduced to a large extent. You can only achieve 100% rodent-free environment based on continuous treatment and review. That's what I would say. I hope I answered it too. Thank you.
Yeah. So the reason why I'm asking this is to set us up to understand one thing, and I will expose that thing. Now, the mere fact that we had those two answers from Mr. Basic and Mr. Patrick Osai, the mere fact that you answered in the direction you answered, saying that it is possible, then there's a big but. It means that it is possible. If it's not possible at all, that but will not even be entering the equation. I don't know if you get what I'm saying, Mr. Patrick Osai and Basic, sir. If it is not possible,
yes, I get it. Yeah.
To rodent-proof a facility 100%, we wouldn't even be talking about, say, if this happens, you get it. Yes. So I said that to say this. It is 100% possible. That should be our mindset in this job as pest control professionals. And let me now bust your brain. I have done it. And I keep doing it.
Okay.
And I will give you, you can go and verify. I will give you locations. First, GTB in that Plural House. What street is that in VI now? Plural House. I completely rodent-proofed that place. They had to, you know how VI rats can be. These are big rats. That place is back in a canal. If you know that place well,
yes,
it's back in a.
Yes.
So those rats as big as in they come from there, invade that place. So the issue was this: they had a pest management a vendor, but that vendor couldn't solve the problem. Come, then put baits in base stations and all those things, blah blah blah. But rats were eating up their files. Rats were eating cables, were destroying things, and I was called into the picture. In my report, I told them that we will do that's always what I say. We will do a zero rodent operation, and that will span. Sometimes I give 2 months, sometimes I give 3 months, depending on the severity of the infestation. So that operation, I call it an operation because it is an exercise that will involve everybody. It will involve their facility people. It will involve even the staff, because their lifestyle will have to change per my instruction. I was going there every week for 2 or 3 months. I can't remember anymore. That was what I did. And it wasn't only exclusion that I did. I was educating. I was, sometimes I would just go during their break hour. I would, like a group of people, I would lecture them on how to live responsibly in the office space. how not to drop things anyhow, how to use waste bins, how not to litter the place with nuts and fruits and all those things. I did that. I was doing that, and at the end of I solved the problem. So when we say rodent-proof a facility, that's exactly what we mean. I'm not saying that rats will not come into the compound, right? But they will come into the compound, they won't find their way into the facility. Because you can't stop rats in Lagos now. I mean, so in rodent-proofing a facility, let it stay in your brain that it can be done 100%. Because if you don't have it in your head like that, you'll be limiting yourself and you'll be thinking it's not possible.
Do not have it.
Exactly. Exactly. So I want us to recondition our brain. That's why we are called specialists. We are called professionals. That's our job. And we must deliver on this job. And that is why I always say that rodent control is far more than killing rats and rat poison. Anybody can kill rats, even my grandmother, my late grandmother. But not everybody can control a rodent infestation. If it's to kill rats, anybody can do that. Anybody can buy rat poison. And you see, the job of rodent control is not in the killing of rats. The job of rodent control is not in bait, in rat poison. It is in the exclusion that we do. That is the job.